Good afternoon, everybody. It's just Heather / Hetty from Twitterland. You can find me at Epilepsy Cures, and that's what this one's entitled to. And you can also find me at my personal account that I've had since basically January, and that's at Alive and Me. And this is kind of actually in regards to both. It's faith and it's in regards to, I'll say epilepsy, but because that's my main illness, but it's in regards to just pretty much any illness. Because granted, I've got several, but I do also know quite a few out there. And I've been tested for a billion. So I can feel the pain for many, and just to know that, He works wonders literally through them all with faith. And He's not the one that lays them on you, but He's the one that turns them into good for you as long as you have faith. And I've just come across some amazing people with that faith, and it just brought big smiles, to my face to see that. And I had an amazing sermon this past week from a pastor of mine that was the assistant pastor. He actually went back to California, and he is just absolutely phenomenal. He is one just so filled with joy, so filled with humor, filled with laughter, always. And there came a point in time where something kind of stopped a little bit of humor. And he was just up in front and honest about that. And I commend him for that. That's where I just love him so much. He's just honest. And we got to talking back and forth about it. And, I had known a while ago, he had a while ago in his life, before I knew him, he had some seizures. And up today, it was about 3 or so months ago, he got hit again. And it was like, oh my gosh, no, not again. And I'm sure the whole why God came in and whatnot. But the biggest thing is prayer. We all were praying big. And, one of the most popular medications out there today to be placed on mainly, I'll just say mainly anybody, is Keppra. I cannot sit here and say that, don't take it, because I know there are so many out there that it's done good for, but I also know that there are so many out there that it has just destroyed lives, marriages, faith, just you name it. And I can't even elaborate what it did in my life. So when we got to talking, if you cannot all of a sudden after 8 weeks adjust to a medication and come back to being yourself, there's something not right, especially when you have the faith that this friend of mine has. His faith is beyond, and the humor he has, he's got a gift in that. I mean, that's like his other calling is his humor is just beyond disbelief. And he's got many stories behind that of who's invited him to be part of his shows and stuff. And it's just unbelievable that something ever could bring him down. And so I just got to talking to him about, no, you might want to double think, actually, taking that one. And, if I need to pay for you to go see the doctor, come to me. And but he did come and he spoke to our church, and it was amazing, what he had to say. And it was basically had to do with what is one thing that would turn you from God. And it's just amazing, I guess, a lot of things that were brought to him. And for him to ever say that, obviously he had his down points, and I commend him for ever bringing that as a sermon up. So I give him a round of applause. He's one amazing soul. And one of the verses that, just flabbergasted me that he brought up, actually, I had to go ahead and bring in, was from Luke, and I'll have to post when his sermon comes up to the site. But it was from Luke 7, and it was when John the Baptist was actually, he's the one who baptized Jesus, and gosh almighty, he was like, whoa, but you're the Lord, you are the Messiah, and Jesus is like, you need to do this for me, this is what needs to be done, this is going to fulfill the whole prophecy. And so John the Baptist was just, he felt, wow, me to baptize Jesus. And so beside the point, if you look into it, it was Luke 7. If you start at 7, I guess 21, he was in jail. John the Baptist was in jail, and he was going to be beheaded. And he has been praying and waiting for Jesus to do something while he's out there curing all the sick, and he's healing the blind, and he's stopping the epileptics and making them norm again, and he's like waiting with all his prayers for like, when's Jesus coming through for me? I mean, I'm hanging on. My faith is strong, still strong, but wait a minute, what did I do wrong? And so he goes forth, and so he sent some people out and to ask. And he asked basically, why is Jesus curing all these people who had sickness, diseases, and evil spirits, and gave sight to all this many, and healing the blind? And Jesus replied to these messengers, go back and report to John what you have seen and heard. The blind receive sight, the lame walk, those who have leprosy are cured, the deaf hear, and the dead are raised, and the good news is preached to the poor. Blessed is the man who does not fall away on account of me. Meaning, you still, through all hard times, even when those hard times are on you, you still have faith in him, because no matter what, he has amazing plans. Keep that faith through them all, and he will have an amazing open door just ready for you. And even if John the Baptist, yes, was to be beheaded, but imagine where he went and how glorified he was, and it just sent out his word even more. And today, it's taken so long for me to have all my setup dates for my brain surgery, but it's just taken that time to have that faith, keeping that faith in Jesus, knowing that he has the plans, because he started with the whole door open in the first place. And that's so true. It's the same thing with suffering and this other one. When you feel lonely, when you're going through suffering and illness, weakness, or trial that no one particularly can possibly have but you. When you feel that way, you, number one, really and truly aren't the only one. But number two, if you feel like, wow, there's no one I can go to, it's not true. If you feel that way, that there's no one in your family, no one in your church that you can open up to, first person you should always open up to is Jesus. And this comes from a book that's phenomenal. It's called The Thorn in the Flesh, and it's by R.T. Kendall. And that will explain just, a lot. And otherwise, there was one other verse I liked from Romans 11:36. And everything comes from God alone, everything lives by his power, and everything is for his glory. And he does work wonders, and it is for his glory. And one last thing, there is a book called The Brain Disorders Source Book, Roger S. Cicala, MD. And there it is. And I want to send blessings to you all, and reach me at epilepsycures.com. Love you all.